the
What are
opposite.
you
Yeah, it's
doing?
overrelating
This
to
is how we're starting a
diet.
podcast. This is how we're starting a podcast right here.
Now introducing the
In the middle of a conversation. Yeah.
It helps.
What's up, everybody in Facebook land? We have another show for you. It is the three of us, and now we've added Damion too. We've added Damion too.
Good to be here.
That was good.
I love
Wow.
Good to be here. That was great.
Wow. That was hard to hold on to, by the way. That was very hard.
Yeah.
Voice
You got it.
Ladies.
You held it down. Held
I
it
don't even
down.
think we can follow up now with it. Like anything we do or say at this point is going to pale.
Yeah.
It would be
Well, no.
diametrically opposed to success. You're welcome.
Is that phrase used like a little too much these days? Diametrically opposed.
I don't know
First I've
if
heard
it's
it.
used more or less than it has been, but it has in the last 5 minutes.
I mean, how opposed can you be to a subject to where you have to be diametrically opposed to it? Like, I feel like if you don't dig something, you don't dig it. Let's move on.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's
Yeah.
just do that. Let's move on. And today, Damion Cross is with us talking about whatever his heart desires, which I know is a lot. The man's a smart person, has done a lot in his career in the bar community. And whatever I say, whatever sort of accolades I try to attribute to him, he's going to immediately tell me it's all a waste of time or it's wrong, or he'll just shake his head like that.
But
But
tell you
in
something
terms,
diametrically opposed.
Very, very, very kind of you. Very kind of you. Adam. Very kind.
so usually the four of us would meet at a bar, we'd meet at a restaurant, we'd meet at somebody's house or a park, and we would all have a drink in our hand and maybe something to eat. Obviously, that's one out of four is bad, but we all know the reason we are all on video chat right now. Damion, what are your thoughts about that in terms of impact to our industry in Las Vegas?
I mean, first and foremost, I think we can all collectively agree it sucks, right? It really sucks because we all missed our brothers and sisters, our families, so to speak, our real families, our bar community families. So, it's heartbreaking. Listen, with you three, I would be on the chat anyways. I wouldn't show up because that's just who I am. But I think it sucks that this is happening. And for me, as we talk, that's an overarching theme. Like, okay, it sucks. Now we got to get over it and move forward and try to, help ourselves mentally, help ourselves in our careers, be constructive and support each other, through things like this and, all the great things people are doing, showing what they're cooking every day, taking pictures, hitting TikTok, whatever that is, and I'd love to touch on later when it's appropriate, preparing ourselves for when we come out of this, out of this shitty situation that we're all in right now. This also tragic and unfortunate situation that our community, our country, friends, family, everybody's in. So I think, all those things are important.
And so I know everyone, all our viewers everyone will have a different situation happening. Could you tell us about what you're doing? Tell us about, first of all, your what you're doing right now, your job, your career, what your responsibilities are, and then how have they changed since the boom happened?
Sure. So I've been lucky in a lot of ways, and so I'm in the middle of selling my house, and that's working out great for me. And I got lucky, in this time. I'm doing a lot of consulting, and I'm also doing a lot of me time in this, and I think that's important. And I'm waking up every day trying to find stuff to do. I'm going, before I go to bed every night, I'm making a list of things I want to do. But yeah, I'm just like everybody else. I'm trying to stay busy and not go stir crazy. But professionally, working on some things personally, and also working for some people to help them, for after this situation in a consulting role. So that's kind of where I'm at personally and in my career, as we sit in this moment.
All right.
Who's next?
No.
Adam's
I
over
don't want
playing
to
with
hog all Damien's time.
I want you to
No,
hog
I was
it.
trying
with
to-
my
Take it.
queries.
I'm an open book.
Well, financially, how prepared were you before this happened?
I've been very lucky. I've had trials and tribulations through this, but I've been very lucky. Based on my career for the last handful of years, taking care of myself, having a house where there was an investment, having money put away. I've worked hard at it. Make no mistakes. There's, I feel blessed. I feel good. That's one stress I don't have right now. So I know that I'm blessed, and just to put it context, that's just through the work I've done, trial and error. I lived hard. I got to Vegas at 22. I lived hard for a lot of years. Didn't save a dime. Didn't care about the future. So
We've
Right.
all done that.
yeah.
Still doing it.
Yeah, sure. And I get both plights. I respect people that haven't been able to do that, and just personal growth over time. That's led me to a position where that's not one of the stresses I specifically have right now. I mean, money's always a stress for everybody, but right now that's not in my top 10 things that I'm worried about right now.
Yeah. So, one question about that you could probably shed some light on. What percentage of the small businesses out there do you think are going to recover from this? And such as like those restaurants that we have out there.
Let's put
No,
it
I mean nationally. I mean,
spot. Holy cow.
that's his job.
No, it's fine. I'll
Yeah.
be very candid.
His job.
It's like one, I think a lot of people are going to struggle. The restaurant business, we all know that you don't open a restaurant to become a millionaire unless you open up 100 of them, right? Like it's you do it for the love of the game. That's first and foremost. And some people come away with money, some people don't. But at the end of the day, you look at restaurants, the margins they're not like. Why do you think Mark Cuban doesn't own any restaurants? Because the money's it's not the most lucrative business. We do this first and foremost, in my opinion, for the love of the game. It certainly can pay some bills. It certainly can be a good time. You certainly can make money. But I think it's going to be tough for a lot of people. I encourage everybody to, I don't want to tell restaurant owners their business. They have their thing and chefs and they're working on it. But, if you have one and you are wondering what you should be doing, you should be looking at, small business loans. You should be looking at all the programs, and there's several programs that are out there that can help you survive this and keep living and moving after the fact, whenever this clears up, if you will.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's really tough.
So we were talking with some people. We've had some other people on already. Nick Palmieri, who knows Henson, has his own place. We had well, I'll just say this: you're the first person we've had on that is a lot more acutely aware of the Las Vegas Strip and all the resorts and things like that, and the ebb and flow of that game. What is that? What are your thoughts on that world?
I think there's a lot of tiers, a lot of layers, a lot of tiramisu to that. I think
Great analogy.
I think first and foremost, if you're talking about these big boxes, these big buildings, it's going to be their world is going to change for sure, and they're already planning it. Like, if you don't think that there's a bunker that they're in every day, and I have the knowledge that I have. If you don't think that these casinos don't have a brain trust working on what it's going to look like tomorrow, the next day, a month from now, 6 months.
Let me ask you this then. Sure.
Yep.
Let's put you in the brain trust. Like what would you do? Like, what makes sense? What would you what? Yeah.
So first and foremost, number one, and I want everyone to understand this. And you could choose to believe me or not. The thing that's going to be most important to these big companies, these big buildings, is the stockholders, the investors. That's going to be first and foremost. So while I respect the casinos that are paying people still, make no mistake about it, that's part goodwill and it's good for the people. But my opinion, that's also a financial play, because these companies don't do anything without finance in mind, right?
Sure.
So it's part goodwill, which is great. I'm happy people are still getting paid, making money, able to pay the bills, on furlough, still on the payroll. That's great. I think that's awesome. I'm very happy for them. But also,
Damion, hold on.
Yeah.
Reigns, are you playing with your belly button?
No. Yeah.
No, you can't see that. Nice.
What are you doing
down
over
here?
there? Oh, this man's playing with his belly button.
Got him. I have that effect. I have that effect on him.
I did not know that economic stimulus made you horny, Reigns. I didn't know that.
And I think that the second part is like the Wynn is a great place. They take care of their people. I worked there for a handful of years. I know.
What'd you do at the Wynn again?
What's that?
I'm sorry. What was your title at the Wynn?
Property mixologist.
Okay.
So
taking
running
notes in triplicate.
The running joke I had them. They also did, and it's very intelligent. They also did it. One of the most expensive things, if not the most expensive thing about these big casinos, is onboarding employees, right?
Sure.
So to keep paying them and keep them on furlough, when the day comes, whatever that day is, and we'll talk about it, they can mobilize really quickly, because when you have they have 12,000 employees, MGM has 9,000 employees, Mandalay Bay has 81,000 employees. I can go down the list. It's just something I'm aware of. But to run these big buildings, it's going to take a minute to get them up and running. Luckily for them, unluckily, it's not going to be busy when this opens up very fast, so they can mobilize quickly. But it's going to take a lot to get these machines up and running again. It takes a lot. It really takes a very large village, because there's so many departments, so many moving parts, and so many things. And I could go on that portion, but it's just if it opens up on May 1st, I don't think it is. If it did, it's going to take a lot of work from every department, and that's engineering, that's housekeeping, that's gaming, that's food and beverage. It's going to take a lot of work to get the machine back up and running again. And sometimes I don't think people realize, like, you can't just walk in and turn on the lights. It doesn't work that way. So
right.
And if you could prognosticate, what time frame do you feel this will happen? Obviously, there's a lot of factors. Obviously, you're not you don't know everything that's happening. But what's the time frame you think of, and like, how do you think things are going to look afterwards?
So if you asked me to bet $5, and you gave me all the dates in the calendar and said, what do you think? I'm personally, and this is a personal opinion, I'm personally not, just so everybody has the context, I'm not telling you what's going on. I could be wrong. My personal opinion is it's not May 1st. I think you're closer to middle of May, June, if it does happen. Right as it sits right in this moment. And again, we're going to get so much more information. So I would only bet $5 because I wouldn't want anyone to hold me to more. But if you were trying to plan your life in this moment, 15th to the end of the month of May, June 1st is in my head. That's what I see. And again, context, and I don't want anyone to hang on that and change their life. But if you're asking me, that's my guess.
Words from the great prognosticator.
Yeah, let's not.
Really a fancy way of saying predict. Adam Raines, 1 point to you.
It's just a fun idea. Use that word in that movie Groundhog Day. It's stuck in there when they talked about the groundhog. Prognosticator. Hoxatoni Phil.
Jesus.
In a lot of ways, like this is Groundhog Day, and there's nothing else to do. And so, Damion, you say like it's not going to be like the floodgates opening, but at the same time, this is changing everyone's life to the point where, like, no one's leaving their house unless it's to go to the grocery store for 5 minutes. So,
if they're smart?
If they're smart. So let's say the bar and the restaurant is open again, and all clear is the sign given. In my head, everyone is going to want to be around other people, and you're not going to get that going to Walmart, and you're not going to get that going to a movie theater. You're going to get that going to the bar, going to the restaurant, and seeing those same people, right? So, I guess when you say like it'll be a slow trickle, what's the thinking there, I guess?
So first and foremost, I think you also have to talk about the airline world, and I've been following their story. I've been following their stocks just because that stock market could be very telling in how things are operating.
Sure.
People aren't going to be like, if Vegas opens up, the rest of the country is still going through shit, and we'll still be going through some shit too, right? It'll still be happening. Like if you're sitting around in Michigan or, somewhere where you have to get on a plane, right? Somewhere in the Midwest, East Coast, like your first instinct isn't going to, for most part, isn't going to be to get on a plane. And the reason I say that is when this hit, most of the casinos were at 30 to 40% occupancy. Now, to understand what that means, and if you think that's like, oh, that's going to move the needle, we'll be good. They were already running at a low capacity for staff. That's not a lot. During like, to give you the idea, during, January, February, March, April, normally these casinos run 85,
100%.
95 to 100% occupancy. So just to give people context, that's a massive gap because there's thousands of rooms in these places. So, and bartenders that work on the strip, what you make during CES. CES is usually 100% occupancy. So Matt, what you make during CES. So imagine what it looks like when it's 36% occupancy, just to give people context and an idea of what it looks like.
And so, I mean, this is kind of the similar vein, but being property mixologist to win for as long as you were, and then being in charge at station casinos, you've seen the trends, what was moving the needle. The craft movement was definitely a part of that. Coming out of this, what's going to change, or what, like, is the craft movement dead? Is it going to be a completely different direction? Is it going to be a slow pickup? Like, to that then, like, for your thoughts.
Yeah, I think so. We've had a lot of different things that have gone on, but if you are, this is a personal pet peeve, and I'm going to throw this out there. If you are a bartender that's at home right now making Amaro cocktails, that's not what it's going to look like when we come back. It's going to be very simple things elevated. The days of 6-ingredient cocktails, I'm not saying they're dead. I would never say that, but simplicity is going to rule the day. I think one thing that the casino is going to have to do to kind of invigorate what they're doing as the country goes through this, because we need the rest of the country, we need the rest of the world. We're a major hub for, all walks of life that want to enjoy Vegas. You're going to see simplicity take over, and it's not going to be because bartenders are creating the trend. It's going to be because that's the directive. Like they got resort fees and parking fees for the early start. If you're asking me, I'm in the bunker and I'm like, how to bring this back, resort fees, in my opinion, got to go. Parking's got to go, because we're not going to have flights coming in here heavy. So we got to get locals back to the strip. And one of the things that got locals away from the strip, parking and resort fees. So we got to get rid of those things, in my opinion, just for the foreseeable future.
That's a good point.
Good beer too. For a good point.
Yeah.
Delicious.
So what have you been doing to keep yourself occupied? I know you said you've been doing consulting, etc., selling a house.
And working on you. What are you doing?
Working on you. New year, new you.
So from a industry standpoint, I'll start there. I decided, and I encourage this for anybody, and just full disclosure, anything I talk about, anybody who watches, listens, wants to have a conversation, wants some help, some support, I'm there, and that's
You want to give your phone number or email right now?
No, not really. You know how to find me. I'm on Facebook, Instagram. But we can have a conversation. But right now, one of the things I'm doing is I'm deep into writing a business plan for something that I've wanted to do for a while.
Barbecue?
What's that?
Barbecue?
No, it is not. It's not.
It's called Black Tiger.
It's called White Tiger.
It's not barbecue.
Maybe Tiger King. That's Jesus Christ.
I'm spending a lot of time, a lot of love in this business plan, because it's important to me, and it's something I've wanted to do for a while. I've kind of put it off for whatever dumb excuse I made at whatever time, but I've got the time now, so I'm diving into that. That's one of the things that's important to me. I encourage people to do those things, and along with that, just a side note, talking about like finding stuff to do, and everybody, and I posted this on USBG website, but I want to make this clear too. Get your resumes in order, and if anybody needs help with a resume, I'm happy to help. But if you haven't updated your resume, just remember, as a famous rapper once said, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready, and I think that's really, really important.
Vanilla Ice.
No, it's not Vanilla Ice, you piece of shit. It was sugar free.
No, what other rapper is there?
It was third base.
Jesus Christ. What other rapper is there?
But, yeah, definitely, that's a piece of advice I have. Get your resume in order, get that done. And if you've always wanted to write a business plan, to get your hard drive in order, and these are just things I'm doing, so it doesn't apply to anyone. Read that book. This is the time to do it, because when we get back, and this is back in full swing in 6 months, a year, 2 years, whatever it is, I'm going to call you out when you're complaining about working and you don't have enough free time. So you got the free time. You got the free time. Do the thing right now that you want to do. So listen, I'm trapped in the house like everybody else. I go out just for groceries. That's pretty much it. It's just me and my best friend, which is my pup. So, I spend all day talking to her, so she gets to hear the madness. She doesn't always understand it, but, I'm like anybody else. I'm walking my dog, I'm rubbing my dog, and working on things that I want to work on.
Good.
That's a professional standpoint. Personal standpoint, and I want to humanize this for a minute, so I'll tell a very personal story so people can kind of, and this doesn't apply to everybody, but it might to some people. For the last 13, 14 years that I've been in Vegas, my parents live in New York right now, in upstate New York. I have not been available to them, right? I've neglected my parents, not answering the phone, not calling them back, not spending as much time with them, not visiting. So I've made a real effort. One of the things I've done that I'm working on, I'm not proud that I'm in the situation, but I'm proud that I'm making strides for myself personally, is reconnecting with my mother. She's just like me. My father he's still an essential function, as they say, on the news. And so he's still working, and he's gone 12 hours a day. So my mom's going stir crazy. So, I've been spending 2-3 hours on the phone with my mom, reconnecting, learning about the family, learning about her. She's learning about me. So that's something I'm really proud of.
Good.
Level. Yeah. And I just think, listen, and not everybody has those issues. So that doesn't apply to everybody, full context. And then the other thing is I have 4 really good friends in town. I got a lot of friends in town, but I got 4 really good friends. We have like a weekly standing meeting on the phone just like this. And we just, last night, 3.5 hours, we just shot the shit, had fun, did the thing. And I got to tell you, if you're feeling down and you're sad and you're lonely, you're not the only one. So don't feel alone. I'm not saying like don't do it. You're not alone, but reach out to old friends, give them a call. They probably, even if it's for 5 minutes, because I'll tell you what, we did 3.5 hours last night, and last night was the best sleep I've gotten in 2 weeks, and I directly attribute that to feeling good in my heart.
Good, man. Good.
Right on.
That's a great point.
I think those kind of things are important. You got to stay busy professionally, and also wherever you can, and stay busy in your personal life, whether you have mommy issues or not. That's your own thing. But you can definitely pick up the phone and call old friends and just reconnect for 15 minutes, whatever that is. I think it's important, and it's good for the soul.
I'm working on me too. I'm over here right this second. I'm learning how to drink a beer like if I was a Ken doll, like full grip, and you just bring it in. And
here I am pouring out my heart, and you're drinking beer. Unbelievable.
I could drink some Bacanora.
Being married.
Wait, you saw Gene, you saw some Bacanora?
Yeah, I have a bottle and a half.
Motherfucker, save some for me.
Now that I know that you want it, I won't.
Okay. I'm sorry that I used the MF. I will brave the COVID for that.
Yeah.
But look at this. Look, who full hands of beer? Who full hands of beer? Nobody full hands of beer. Yeah. So I'm bringing the full hand beer back.
So a quick change up. Damion Cross has been sharing some really heartfelt sentiments with us, and then Gene Samuel jumps on a Ken doll reference. Gene, do we need to like maybe have a quick like chat with you? Like what? Yeah. Where's your heart? Seriously,
my heart.
What's with the deflection?
You some bitch.
I thought that was a great segue, but I guess it wasn't. I didn't know how it's a better segue.
It was not a segue.
And in lighter news, Muffy had kittens. Like what? We just heard there's 8,000 people dead in Kosovo. Don't worry about it.
And I Muffy. Like cheese.
And that's the news to me. Like, no, it's not news to anybody. No, I've always listened. I love you, Damion. You know that. And
all good. I love you too.
It takes a great person to start thinking about themselves and their mental health and reconnecting. You're right. Having this time alone really has reassessed a lot of stuff. And I kept going back to what I talked to Adam and Rains about my regrets being back. Like I said, I wish I was a theater geek in high school versus following what the popular trends were, because I've missed out on so much. And trying to be the man that I've always wanted to be, and I can instill that to my kids. And being locked in a room, you kind of start figuring those things out. On, do you mean what you say, or do you mean what you feel, or are you just talking shit?
Sure.
And so those are things I've been working on. Just being here at home is waking up in the morning, doing something productive. This when I know I have a show to do with these guys, it makes my day go better.
Yeah.
You know, and again, I get to piece that back together and work that back around. I get to show my kids a work ethic. You know, get them doing stuff as well. And my wife, she's in the act. She's cleaning the house, and we're staying productive, keeping our minds clear. Because I tell you, there's certain people that like yourself. You got your dog. There's certain people walking around stir crazy in their house.
Yeah.
And this does not feel good.
No, for sure.
You know, but I love it. I love the time that we get to reflect.
I think everybody has to understand that we're all to different levels, right? Like everybody's got what they've got. We're all in the same position. We can't go anywhere. We can't do anything. We don't have a job. We don't have, like, we're all there's some connection there that we're all in the same position. And again, everybody's, you know, from there's branches that are different for everybody, but we're all in the same position. So everybody has to remember they're not alone. Reach out to your friends, reach out to your people, talk to them, because you're not the only one. So I'm not going to tell you to not feel sad, not feel lonely. Those are your feelings, your emotions. You got to feel those. But if you can say them out loud, it makes things better. And also, don't complain. Don't feel bad for yourself, because this is going to get better. And it's vastly important that, listen, we all talk shit and say, oh, this sucks, it sucks, and it does. But you know, just take the alternative. Do right by yourself and the people that love you. Don't dwell on it, because that's definitely not going to get you anywhere. You can't go far if you're stuck in your house, and I get that, but you can go a lot farther siding with the positive. So.
All right, that reminds me, and we'll mainly Gene's Kendall. I'm gonna go back to that comment. Reminds me of a cheers. I just thought of a new cheers for us right now. Everyone raise their glasses if you have water or whiskey or beer, whatever. All right, here's the trials and tribulations and glorious lamentations, and good vibes here and after. Cheers for now. Cheers for later. And Gene Samuel is a bastard.
All right. I'll drink to that.
I love you, dude. I'm going to work on the ending.
That was good.
And Gene's still a bastard.
Adam Raines, don't change a thing.
I think this is always a cathartic release when we get to do this once a week. I get to see new faces and see how everyone else is doing and making sure everyone's doing well. This has been really good.
I'm honored to be here with you guys. It means a lot, and thanks for having me. You know, along with the mental health thing, and I think this is really important, and social media has been a major problem. So I want to talk social media and how you're reacting, and I also want to talk leadership. I think that's important too. What I'm saying to everybody today, before I sound like I'm in the glass house throwing stones, get offline, stop posting stuff from no-name writers that don't know shit about shit, that don't have connections, and posting that stuff and hyping yourself up or upsetting yourself, getting too high. You know, doing all that stuff. That stuff is bad for you, because, like, there was an article today, and I don't know the guy, but he posted about how the Las Vegas Strip shouldn't open up. People are posting it, half the people are like, yeah, don't open it up. And half the people are like, yeah, we need to, or this guy's the gospel. This guy doesn't know shit, okay? Doesn't know shit. Never worked in a casino, doesn't know anything about the casino business. He said the phrase, the reality is, 7 or 8 times in one paragraph. He doesn't know the reality. And there's so many people that don't know the reality, right? Whether you're a Trump, stop, grow up.
What was that?
The fuck was that? Who's got their phone on vibrate?
Not me.
Not you.
Not me.
I keep
my
my
phone's
phone
right here. It's not on vibrate.
I keep my phone on silent like an adult.
Like an absentee dad.
But that stuff's definitely not good for your mental health because, whether you're a blue state guy or a red state guy, none of these people know anything. And look at it, right? Like look at it. Check out these governors, right? We got a bunch of red state governors, a bunch of blue state governors. They're all doing different stuff. They don't know shit about shit. They're just doing the best they can. So don't get too high because nobody really knows anything, right? So until the president and CEO of MGM, let's just use that for instance, or Matt Maddox at Wynn, until they come out and say, this is what we're doing, this is the hard date, this is how we're approaching it. Don't listen. Like listening to some 2-bit writer and getting yourself and your friends excited. That's crazy. Don't do it. They don't know what they're talking about. And it's easy to say, Damion, you just told us a whole bunch of stuff. I just understand how the big buildings run, and I understand what happens. I can't tell you when they're going to open, not open. So please understand that. And then to the leadership point, which I think is vastly important. I believe in the phrase attitude reflects leadership. And one of the biggest problems we've had, and again, I don't want to talk politics because it's null and void in this moment. Whatever side you lean on or believe in, whoever your person is, they're causing hysteria. My parents are in New York. I don't care what Cuomo is, Democrat or Republican. He scares half the state, and half the state he makes feel good. But if you listen to the guy talk, it's crazy talk. He's not making everybody comfortable. Trump, whether you like him or not, isn't making people comfortable. So be a lead. You none of us are going to be governor anytime soon, but you can be a leader in your community, the bar community, the Las Vegas community, by not getting involved in those things and not sensationalizing and posting. And I understand we're angry and it's easy to pick up that little phone and type something in that's crazy. But what I would say, especially in this time, if you're feeling like you need to post something and get people excited, before you hit send or post, I would just take a deep breath for a second and say, is this going to help anybody? Is this going to make anybody's day easier? Because you, like you said, Gene, you got a lot. We all have a lot of friends and people that are going stir crazy in a house. Mm-hmm. So if you post, oh, Steve Sislak, X, Y, and Z, and this is going to happen and this is going to happen, you don't know. You don't know. There's no way you know. So why would you feed the meat machine, feed the beast, whatever you want to say? Like, for your own mental health, for your friends' mental health, don't buy into that stuff because nobody actually knows. And that's the truth. Nobody's known this entire time.
Hear, hear.
With that, we're going to wrap it up. Adam, Gene, any thoughts? Any other questions for Damion?
No, Damion, you got any final thoughts before we sign out, brother?
No, I mean, just take care of each other, take care of your family, take care of yourself. It's vastly important. Get your resume together. Last point, with 36% occupancy on that strip, if you're a strip employee, they're not bringing back all the bartenders on day one. You have to know that. So it's going to be competitive. They're just not going to need you. So if you're thinking that they might be eliminating positions, eliminating people, you got to know it's competitive. So stay ready, be ready. This is going to pass. I hope the best for everybody. My heart goes out to anybody struggling. And I just want the best for everybody. And I think it starts with, finding, reflecting, getting context and taking care of yourself and your people. So I hope the best for everybody. And like I said, if anybody needs anything, reach out. Happy to help. Happy to sit down and talk about your resume, talk about your project. That stuff's fun for me. So I'll give you all the time you want. So, and that's unconditional. That's with no strings attached. That's just, I'm happy to do that. And I'd be excited to do that with anybody who wanted to.
With that said,
Beautiful.
reach out to who you feel comfortable reaching out to.
Yes.
We're all going through this together. Damion Cross is a smart man, and he is one avenue of help. Adam Rains, we all know, does 1,000 million things at a time, and he's now doing 0, so he's available. Gene Samuel is actually starting to do Slab Saturdays again, so he may
Yes,
be
I am.
busy, but he will always make time and room for you in his life. Same thing for me. And actually, if none of us are who or what you need to talk to, there are other people out there. So with that, signing off, the fabulous Swiggavino brothers, life in quarantine time. Damion Cross, thank you. We'll
Thank
see
you,
next
buddy.
week.
Man, love you, man.
Love you, buddy.
Love you guys. Honored. Thank you.